Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, Ryan Shirley video, Netherlands. My name's Connor if you're new, the original link to the video top of the description. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's go, first video of the day.
My name is Ryan, and I recently returned from exploring the country of the Netherlands, and I want to share with you my favorite places, so here's my Netherlands top 10.
Holy crap.
Located between Germany and Belgium, the Netherlands...
By the way, guys, I learned that the Netherlands and flowers is not a recent business venture. I'm sure a lot of people, especially from the Netherlands, know this, but I didn't. It goes back centuries, and I think there was some economic crisis associated with it, like 300 years ago. I forget. I probably should know a little more of what I'm talking about before I say it.
Is one of the most beautiful and well-designed countries on earth. There's a quote that says, "God created the world, but the Dutch made Holland, and after visiting, I understand why. From the canals..."
That is freaking stunning.
The world, but the Dutch made Holland, and after...
So is this an old star fortress that was then just converted with a town on top of it?
Visiting, I understand why. From the canals of Amsterdam to endless tulip fields, the Netherlands will leave you in awe with its beauty and ingenuity. Let's start this video off at Kinderdijk. When I came to the Netherlands, seeing the windmills was one of the things I wanted to do most, and there's no shortage of them here. Located about an hour from Amsterdam, Kinderdijk is a village that was first inhabited more than 700 years ago. The people at Kinderdijk had to find a way to manage the water, and windmills were a great solution. There are 19 windmills here, and most of them were built around the year 1740. Today, Kinderdijk is home to the largest concentration of old windmills in the Netherlands.
I remember an enormous, insane amount of modern, the tall, thin, white windmills driving through northern France and then through Belgium and up into the Netherlands. But I never remember seeing any of these old style classic Dutch windmills that you associate with the Netherlands.
It was fun to walk down the main path and marvel at the windmills on both sides. One of my favorite things that we did was tour one of the windmills. I didn't realize this beforehand, but the windmills served as homes for people of the village, and this one was 3 stories high. It was fascinating to see all the rooms constructed around the infrastructure of the windmill. The gears of the windmill were also particularly interesting. They were made out of wood, and it just blew my mind that the Dutch were able to make these almost 300 years ago. After we went outside and the wind started...
Okay, so is this one the one that is directly connected to the actual fins of the propeller of the windmill, and then you convert it into, instead of this, into this? And do you know what I'm trying to understand?
There's the windmill. We're also
like, how do they convert the spinning of the main windmill sails into these gears?
They were made out of wood, and it just blew my mind that the Dutch were able to make these almost 300 years ago. After we went outside and the wind started blowing, and I couldn't believe how fast it started turning. I mean, it definitely would be dangerous if you got too close to it. I went over to the mill on the side, and it was pumping up water from the lower elevation. And it was just fascinating to me that the Dutch were able to find a way to harness the wind's power hundreds of years ago to move water from one place to another. Even if you're not into engineering, you'll find this place fascinating. After, we're going to head over to Urk. Located about an hour from Amsterdam, Urk is this beautiful Dutch town that dates back to the 10th century. Urk was originally an island, but in the 1940s, the land around Urk was reclaimed from the sea thanks to polders and Dutch engineering, and this connected it to the mainland. Today, Urk is such a charming town. I particularly like the harbor. It was full of these beautiful boats. I also love the lighthouse. It was built in 1837 and overlooks the town. One of the main reasons I wanted to come here was to see the wind turbines of Noorderspolder. There's this massive wind farm, and it's one of the largest in the country. The turbines are on the land and also in the sea. What blows my mind is about 80 years ago, this whole area was under the sea. I mean, it's just crazy to me they were able to reclaim this land. There's a path that goes along the water, and it's really relaxing to walk on. If you come during the springtime, there's also a lot of tulip fields.
What happens if the direction of the wind isn't going into it? Does it rotate?
in the area, which create a scenic landscape with the turbines spinning in the background. After, we're going to head to the coast to visit the Hague. Located on the North Sea about 45 minutes from Amsterdam, the Hague was first mentioned in 1242, and today it's the third largest city in the Netherlands. Thanks to its proximity to the North Sea, the Hague has a huge beach with a massive pier. I mean, the whole area reminded me of California's beaches, except it was a lot colder. I mean, I had a great time just walking on the beach and checking out the pillars on the pier. Afterwards, we're going to head over to Gouda. I'm a huge fan of Gouda cheese, so I had to come check the city out. Located about an hour from Amsterdam, Gouda is a historic city that dates back to the 1100s.
Is that how you say it? It's not Gouda?
Throughout the centuries, Gouda suffered plagues, fires, and financial difficulties, and it didn't really prosper until the mid-19th century. Today, Gouda is famous worldwide for its cheese. It's made in the surrounding areas, and it was traded in the town's cheese market. One of my favorite features of the city was the town hall. It was built in the 15th century, and it's one of the oldest town halls in the Netherlands. It's such a unique building with Gothic architecture. I really enjoyed just walking around the central square and other alleyways. I mean, Dutch cities are just so well designed. Now afterwards, we're going to visit the capital
Amsterdam.
of the Netherlands, Amsterdam.
I've been here.
Known for its elaborate canal system, narrow houses, and
This isn't Disneyland.
bridges, Amsterdam has a
I'm so
vibe like
sorry.
none other.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I was in Amsterdam many years ago.
Beautiful. You've probably heard the story. I was in the Netherlands biking crazy. I've told this story so many times. I only have a few Europe stories, so I have to recycle them. You know, it's not like I have a million ones to rely on. And so people who are like, what are you talking about? I was biking, I guess, like an idiot tourist, and a Dutch woman passes me and says, looks back at me, or didn't look back at me. It's just like, this isn't Disneyland, directed to me. And I got embarrassed, and I didn't drive like an idiot anymore. So I learned my lesson. But I just found it so strange how obviously American I looked, and the people just knew. They're just like, American, speak English to this guy.
Countless bridges, Amsterdam has a vibe like none other. I was in Amsterdam many years ago, and its impression has always left a mark on me. Amsterdam originated as a small fishing village in the 12th century, and it rose to be
As a what?
Left a mark on me. Amsterdam originated as a small fishing village in the 12th century, and it rose to be one of the world's most important trading routes in the 1600s. Now, it's just crazy to me that these canals were designed and constructed hundreds of years ago. I mean, truly mind-blowing. When I was there, I just had a good time walking around the canals and enjoying the atmosphere of this incredible place. Another beautiful nearby city you can visit is Haarlem. Located just a 15-minute train ride from Amsterdam, Haarlem is a quaint town full of Dutch charm. It dates back to the 10th century, and it became a prosperous city thanks to the toll revenues it collected from passing ships. Since
the 10th century, you guys are crazy how far back your history goes.
Haarlem has been a major hub for trading tulips, and it was the center of the tulip mania, which was when tulips were sold for absurd prices from 1634 until the collapse in 1637. It's considered to be one of the first asset bubbles in history. Today,
yeah, I think that's what I was trying to think of in the beginning.
Haarlem maintains much of its medieval and historic buildings.
I don't know why I thought of South Sea Bubble.
Version of Amsterdam. I personally love the river that runs through the city. There's also a historic mill that you can take a tour of. After, we're going to experience the tulip fields. I mean, after seeing the windmills, experiencing the tulip fields was one of the main reasons I wanted to come to the Netherlands. The tulip season varies every year depending on the weather, but it can happen anywhere from the beginning of April to mid-May. The location of the tulip fields can also change from year to year, depending if the farmer wants to plant tulips there. For example, one year there may be a place that has tulips in front of a certain windmill, but maybe the next year the tulip field won't be there anymore. I mean, for me it was a challenge to find some good tulip fields, but regardless, there are a few areas that are famous for their tulips, such as North Holland, Noorderspolder, and Lisi. I mean, I just enjoyed.
Isn't it about re-nutrientizing the soil? Because they do that with farmland, right? Where, you know, when you grow like half or a third of the farm spaces are not used because they grew the previous year's crops and they're being refertilized. And so you use the next bit of fields. Is that the same concept?
Looking for tulip field, Noorderspolder.
Roundabouts. Tons of roundabouts. And that is a good thing. Superior to intersections.
And Lisi.
Less dangerous,
I just
nicer.
Driving through the countryside, looking for tulip fields and windmills. Now, one of the most famous places to see tulips is Keukenhof. It's known as the Garden of Europe, and it's one of the largest flower gardens in the world. It's located in Lisi, about 30 minutes.
Forget the tulips. Look at that grass.
Europe, and it's one of the
That's nice. That
largest
is
flower
nice.
gardens in the world. It's located in Lisi, about 30 minutes from Amsterdam. And it's such a beautiful and tranquil place, but I believe it's only open during tulip season, so just double check that if you decide to go there. After, we're going to visit Rotterdam. Located about an hour's drive from Amsterdam, Rotterdam is home to Europe's largest seaport. The city's history goes back to the 13th century when a dam was built here, and over the next few hundred years, it grew into an important port city. Now, due to its location between Germany and Britain, it was completely destroyed during World War II. When Rotterdam was rebuilt, the city was extremely bold of its building and unique architecture. Today, Rotterdam's skyline is full of modern skyscrapers. It's such a vibe here. After, we're going to visit Amersfoort. Located about 40 minutes from Amsterdam, I think Amersfoort is one of the best preserved medieval cities in the Netherlands. One of my favorite features of Amersfoort is the Koppelpoort. It was completed in 1450 and served as a land and water gate. Another fascinating feature of Amersfoort is the Tower of Our Lady. It served as the middle point of the Netherlands when it was constructed back in 1470, and today it stands as the third tallest tower in the country. If you want to go back in time, you gotta take a stroll through this medieval city. While we're still on the topic of medieval things, we're going to visit Castle de Haar. Located in Utrecht, about 30 minutes outside of Amsterdam, Castle de Haar is one of the most beautiful and well-kept castles in Europe and the largest castle in the Netherlands. The original fortress was built back in 1391, but over the years it degraded and burnt down, so the castle that you see today is a result of a 20-year restoration that was completed in 1912. The castle that you see
Everything's so green. I'm so happy. I love the little bridge walkway. Beautiful. I would love to see the inside of that, or just be there for the outside.
A 20-year restoration that was completed in 1912. The surrounding grounds and gardens are just immaculate. I personally love the moat that surrounds the castle. I mean, such a beautiful place. For our final destination, we're going to visit Zaanse Schans. This is another one of the best places in the Netherlands to see Dutch windmills. Located about 20 minutes from Amsterdam, Zaanse Schans is a historic neighborhood with 13 windmills. The district where Zaanse Schans is located is the oldest industrial area of Western Europe, and at its peak it had over 600 windmills running. Unlike the windmills of places like Kinderdijk, which were used to pump water, the windmills in this area were used for industrial purposes such as sawing wood, making paper, or grinding spices. I mean, once again, the Dutch have amazed me with their incredible ingenuity. We had a great time just wandering through the village.
I love that you find a way to create some, some work power, and then depending on how you connect that power to whatever, you can do different jobs.
And the Dutch have amazed me with their incredible ingenuity. We had a great time just wandering through the village. We were here.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so it's just, this is being spun by, well, I'm sure, a water wheel would be the same concept, or windmills. And it's just turning this, and these just rotate and lift up these so they pound back down on some grain or something.
Dutch have amazed me
Genius.
with their incredible ingenuity. We had a great time just wandering through the village. We were here during later in the day and it had a magical feel to it. It was originally super cloudy and dark, but towards the end of the day, the sun came out and lit up the village so nicely. If you want to feel like you're walking through a magical Dutch village set back in time, you gotta give Zaanse Schans a visit. Well, that is it for my Netherlands top 10. There's still so many more places, towns, and villages I'd love to explore, so expect a part 2. Let me know where your favorite place is in the comments below. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at shirley.films. It's Ryan, and we will see you later.
Awesome video. I mean, my favorite place that I've been to, the only place in the Netherlands I've spent any time was a few nights in Amsterdam, and that was really cool. With my dad and brother. That was awesome. But from the video, it's not really... Actually, there were a few awesome places, but I know my favorite. It was just shown.
So expect a part 2, and there's still so many more. You gotta give so nicely. If you want it cloudy and dark, but towards the end of the day, the sun came out and lit the village so nicely. If you want to feel like you're walking through a magical Dutch village set back in time, you gotta give Zaanse Schans a visit. Well, that's it for my Netherlands top 10.
It was the Star Fort. Right here. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? With these formations here. I'm sure this was a fort back in history. And it looks absolutely amazing. But there are a lot of good places here. Clearly, the Netherlands is beautiful. Look at that. Love y'all. Would appreciate any comments down below, guys. I hope you're all doing well. And hopefully, I'll see you guys next time or watch another video. Bye, guys.